Costco Talk, everybody, where we gather around and talk about our favorite wholesale warehouse store.
I knew I came on the right day. Let us all worship at the Kirkland Temple.
They haven't switched over to Coke yet, and I'm a little irritated about it. It's
good.
okay.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Leave it with Pepsi. It's fine.
The big competitor for Costco out here is a place called BJ's.
I've been to
BJ's.
Yep.
Yeah, it's basically the same. But
How dare you?
Speaking of BJ's, welcome to TV Show in Space.
I was not prepared for that, Rebecca.
Yeah. Seamless transition.
I don't know. Anytime somebody says "speaking of BJ's,"
Yeah. Once again, I don't know. Every time I go to record this specific podcast, my microphone is like, "Oh, no, thank you," and just unplugs itself. But welcome to TV Show in Space. I'm your host, Lieutenant Commander Rebecca Frost, joined by Admiral Kerry Jackson. Everything is computer.
everything is computer.
Commodore 64 Robert Neal. Ensign Tony joining us from the lower decks.
Hey,
and
proud to poke my head up.
Once again, very special guest and friend of the program, Jake Black is back.
Yeah.
Hey Jake.
Hey, hi.
So glad you came back. I have been describing your experience on the last episode as surprisingly pleasant. You seemed to be impressed by how much fun you had. So I'm glad you came back.
I'm glad you had me.
Wow.
I love this. Yeah.
Isn't talking about Star Trek so much fun? I love turning on my TV and watching Star Trek and being like, oh my God, I love this show so much. Today we're so close to the end of Next Generation. Oh. We are today talking about the season 6 finale and the season 7 premiere, two-parter Descent, parts 1 and part 2. So why don't we dive on in with Descent Part 1, when Data experiences his first emotion, anger, after an encounter with the Borg. Data tries hard to recreate the experience, and he is blind as to what the consequences will be. Meanwhile, the rest of the Enterprise investigate the mystery as to why the Borg they face seem to have names and feelings of their own. Seems like maybe messing with the Prime Directive in the first place has consequences.
You don't say.
No.
So the Enterprise is responding to a distress call from a Federation outpost in the Oniaka system. They find one ship in orbit, not attacking the outpost. Riker beams down to find everyone dead with plasma burns. A away party finds Borgs on the outpost, and a firefight ensues. What you got there, Jake? And it's in a box.
Yeah. This is the rarest Playmate Star Trek: The Next Generation figure ever. It's a Borg. The figure itself is just the regular Borg figure that they released, but this was an exclusive packaging that they sent out to potential licensees ahead of first contact. It was not released to the public, and it's called the trifold. Yeah, it's called the trifold Borg, and if you look it up, it's occasionally able to pop up on eBay for about $4,000.
Ooh.
So yeah,
how did you score that?
He's Star Trek, Tony. That's how he scored that.
Yeah, it was a gift. It was a gift from the archives.
Well,
that's cool.
Now I can't compete with that, but
I was just about to say, Kerry, what are you going to challenge him with?
I will say this though, is that we start the episode with Sir Isaac Newton, Albert Einstein, and Stephen Hawking all in the holodeck. Yep. Right?
Yes, I did forget about that. I think it's because I know he's renowned and beloved or whatever, but Stephen Hawking drives me nuts. I cannot stand the man.
You can't say that.
But, no, I don't have a Borg action figure, but I do have a Stephen Hawking action figure.
I love that. Love that.
When he was on The Simpsons, but yeah. Anyway.
Same company. Playmates.
Right.
Playmates Toys. Yep.
Yeah, Data. We begin the episode with Data playing poker with Sir Isaac Newton, Einstein, and Stephen Hawking, because we all know this episode came out before Elon Musk was invented. Otherwise, he absolutely would have been there. Am I right, ladies?
Naturally.
Well, I mean, he's in Iron Man 2.
Yeah,
That
one of the
before
greatest.
Everyone knew how crazy he was, though.
One
Rick
of the
and Morty.
greatest minds, whatever.
Don't finish that sentence.
Not to be confused with the greatest criminal mind of our time.
Exactly.
Yeah, well,
That's a disservice to Lex Luthor. Don't.
No. I buy things and I call them my own and say that I invented them.
Right there.
Comedy.
isn't Mike
dead.
Myers doing such a good job on Saturday Night Live as Elon Musk?
I've been trying to nail that accent, and Elon keeps shifting, and so I can't land on it.
It's a hard one. Yeah.
Anyway, we've dedicated way too much time to talking about him. So the Borg,
I will just zip up my Canada sweater here for a minute.
the 51st state. So Data
Bite your tongue.
feels his very first emotion after he fights with the Borg and kills the Borg with his bare hands. The Borg retreat to their ship after suffering casualties. The ship disappears after traveling through a subspace distortion before the Enterprise can fire on it. And so...
You stupid bastard.
That's an actual quote from the episode when Hawking is talking to Einstein. He's like, Einstein, you dumb bitch.
He does.
I will
He
prove
says
you wrong multiple times.
And then it goes like
You
this.
suck. I rule. Who the man? Who the man? Who the man?
I'm so serious. I think Stephen Hawking is so annoying. Okay.
Oh crap.
Was, yeah.
Was.
R.I.P. Riker reports to Picard that the Borg were vicious and did not seem part of the collective. Even their ship did not have the standard cube design of a Borg ship. It kind of looked like a bird of prey a little bit.
Like
Little
a
bit.
really fat one.
Like a fat, like a
Turkey of prey.
fat turkey of prey. The Borg also referred to themselves as I instead of we, and they had names for each other, and they did not seem interested in assimilating the culture or the technology. Our friend Admiral Elena Nechayev arrives on the ship, and she takes control of preparations against the Borg threat. Nechayev is pretty pissed off that Picard let go of that one Borg, Hugh. I don't know if you remember our friend Hugh, the Borg with feelings. And they made
He wants
the
to be a
decision.
real boy.
Hugh wants to be a real boy.
I'm Hugh, the nice Borg. Ooh.
And so Nechayev is pretty pissed off that Picard made the call to let him go back and spread the good word amongst the Borg about humans.
Individuality.
Well, the idea was that he would infect the rest of the Borg and make them all, nutty.
She's always mad at Picard
And then-
anyway. So
Well, Picard's always making dumb decisions.
hey.
Those two, they got kind of a thing. Yeah.
Will they, won't they?
Mm.
So,
She's no Vash.
No, she's no.
my
yeah, exactly.
goodness gracious, no Beverly Crusher.
Eh.
Meanwhile, Data is trying to find ways to recreate the situation in order to feel emotions again. He admits to Deanna that he also felt pleasure at killing the Borg. So he tries to recreate his anger with simulated Borg attacks on the holodeck, but no amount of tinkering with the parameters will help him feel the anger again. Whilst the Enterprise investigates the Borg activity and are bewildered as to why they feel emotions too. Picard yells at Riker for not being able to figure out what was the subspace distortion used by the Borg to escape. I loved the scene with what's his name, Data and Geordi, as he's trying to tinker with the holodeck parameters and make it so that the Borg simulation could kill him in order to feel anger again. I feel like it's a little on the nose with like drugs, not even once, feelings.
But
Not
we've
even
gone
once.
through this before. We've seen this before with Data, and the problem was called Moriarty.
Yes.
Because he's just like, I'm going to tinker with controls and do what I want to do and put everyone in danger. And I like the fact that Geordi was there like, dude, no, not
Stop
the
it.
move.
Yeah. Being
Stop
a good
it.
friend. Yeah.
Picard
Okay,
gets,
Tony, hold on to that thought because I want to come back to that later.
It's interesting that there's a setting on the holodeck that will allow
Kill.
kill.
Disable all safety protocols,
Turn it up
please.
to kill.
I mean, how many times does the Federation need to be sued before?
Well, and I like it. Data, he's like, the computer won't allow me to be killed. So then what is the point of the protocols? if the computer
Because
will
they can't
intervene
be
no matter
turned off.
what.
Because they can't be turned off with like multi-factor authentication, basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not just
Jordy-
like, I can't just say do this, which is
Yeah.
good. But it does raise the question, going back to the whole Moriarty thing. Why was it that when Geordi did it, just like, yep, turn off the protocols, make a character that can defeat Data.
You're looking
And
at
he just did it by himself.
Improved process. They fixed it.
Okay, continuous improvement. Okay, I'll buy that.
Except that every time we've seen it before, the computer's done it. So
Almost a bug.
I don't recall actively disabling the safety protocols up to this point. They have just malfunctioned and people have been shot and bleeding on
I think you're right.
the holodeck.
Fair.
I might be wrong, but
So does anyone really have free will on the Enterprise?
We're back to
Beverly
that
Crusher.
again.
Moriarty.
Yeah, Moriarty does, yeah.
He's not on the Enterprise anymore. He's in a little cube.
He's in a cube. So, speaking of cubes, Picard gets reports of a Borg attack on another colony and arrives just in time to follow them through the subspace distortion. The Borg turn around and fire at the Enterprise and board it with 2 of their collective. While Riker and Worf kill the Borgs, the ship manages to escape in another subspace distortion. Convenient. This is also a change, as Borg never leave their dead behind. The Enterprise finds one of the Borgs still alive. The captured Borg calls himself Croesus and says that the One will destroy them. Croesus presses a button on his arm and Data starts to feel angry again. Croesus lures Data by saying that the One has the ability to get Data to feel and experience emotions. Data admits to Croesus to feel emotions again, he would even kill his friend Geordi. I'm not a fan of this. I don't like this.
there have been times for all of us. Let's be real.
If I could just get one more hit of feeling angry, I would kill my best friend Geordi.
But let's go back to the part where Croesus is in the brig, and we have Picard, Troy, and Data down there talking to him, and Picard's doing his Picard thing, trying to get the
I am
information he's
Locutus.
looking for, and he goes, "I am Locutus," and Croesus is kind of like, "Whatever, dude." Next,
Uh-huh.
and just completely just ignores it, just like, "Yeah, that's nice. What else you got?"
So Picard and the bridge then find out that Data and Croesus have escaped on a stolen shuttle. They emit
Joyride.
tachyon pulses. They emit tachyon pulses to open the subspace conduit that helps them travel at a large distance at 20 times max warp. That's so fast, you guys.
So here's what I want to know. How come the Federation never developed that technology after watching the Borg use it and figuring out how to use it in these 2 episodes? They could have been traveling 20 times the speed of max warp ever since that point.
Because Borg technology is
No. Don't get me
illegal.
No,
They run
I'm-
the risk. They run the risk of being infected.
from traveling in subspace? No.
And so fast. Maybe that's
It's
how the
hard to
Borg
reverse
were
engineer.
created.
I'm letting Jake take this one because he's read all of the
He's
show Bibles. and
he's
things,
Star
so-
Trek. He knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure that if we were to ask anyone, they would say it's because of the risk of connection to the collective. Like there may be a virus embedded in their individuality-ness
Could be.
that if
Could be.
Federation installs it,
And it only happens if you go like super duper fast.
yeah,
Subspace conduits, etc.
yeah.
This is the first time we see the transwarp conduit, right?
Well,
Yeah.
okay, hold on. Question.
Hold
Okay, go on. Sorry.
The only reason I ask is because I know that it does appear again in about 7 years
Yeah.
on another
Yes.
series.
Yep.
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, what about that one Star Trek movie with the whales, and they have to go super fast to go back in time?
Slingshot around the sun using gravity.
Hmm.
A totally
Different.
proven method.
Different.
I don't
Not
know.
the same thing.
I don't know about that, you guys. So
Oh, look at her. Look, she's just not having any of our shit today.
No. Good for her.
Sounds like you guys are asking a lot of questions. So the Enterprise follows them and finds themselves 65 light years away. Geordi scans 3 planets, with 2 having evidence of advanced civilizations, but destroyed with plasma bursts, also known as Borg weapons. They find the shuttle heading to one of those planets. At the planet, they find the shuttle abandoned and engines off for about 3 hours. Picard forms a 4-man away team to search the surface in a 20-kilometer radius, as magnetic interference has rendered their scanner ineffective. He leaves Beverly in charge of the Enterprise, and he beams down himself. Yeah.
But there's a thing. All right, so was it the first episode of Next Generation, many, many reigns past, where Riker's like, no, you don't get to beam down anymore. I'm the guy that beams down. You stay on board the ship.
True.
And especially
well, that's not only the first
Borg,
episode, but like multiple times.
But I mean, it's a recurring theme. And it's like
Yeah.
every time you're the captain, you get to sit here in the comfy chair and just wait.
Be captain of the ship. And I think it kind of clicked for me this particular episode why Riker keeps refusing captain positions because of this specific instance, right?
So
like the man wants to keep doing adventures. The man wants to keep risking his life. He's like the Tom Cruise of Starfleet.
Well, and you'll see that in an upcoming episode, Gambit.
Interesting. So outside, they're filming outside also, you guys, very exciting. Picard, Geordi, and Deanna find a small structure.
With a weird filter. There's a very strange filter on that camera.
You got to make it look alien, Jake. Come on.
Well, yeah, fair. I guess I'm too used to climate change, and that purity on that planet was a little too much.
That's what electromagnetic interference does. It makes you look like you're in an Instagram photo.
Sure. Makes sense.
So they find a small structure. They're captured by the Borg, and it is revealed that the one is no other than, say it with me, everybody, Lore.
Oh yeah, Lore.
The way Picard says it, though.
Lore.
Lore.
So much disdain.
This fucking guy. And then
and I love Troy too. I love Troy. That's not Data.
Good
Lore,
job.
For that.
but Lore then reveals his brother Data and refers to themselves as the Sons of Soong. And I say to my TV, fuck all the way off. That is so... I feel my first emotion of anger. I hate.
I'm changing.
Would you kill Data? Would you kill Data?
Listen, I love when Brent Spiner gets to be fun and do fun stuff. I love. I hate when it's Lore, though. Ooh, I hate when it's Lore.
You know, going back to your drug analogy, you were so perceptive to pick up on
feelings, not even
over
words.
the head. Yeah. Has anyone ever done like a Data shirt, but like in the Dare shirt style?
Oh, that would be cool. I'd buy that.
Data's against feelings and hugs.
Yes. Oh, I like that. Okay.
I bet it's on a. Yeah, the caption is, would you kill your best friend?
Would you kill? You wouldn't download a car. You wouldn't download a feeling.
Let me make a call on that one. We'll see.
If it's not on TeePublic by the end of today, I'm going to be.
You can do it. I was watching this episode with my husband, and my husband's not too familiar with Lore, and so I was like, he was like, "Oh my God, is that Data's evil brother?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's his evil brother because he can use contractions," and he was like, "What?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, Data's evil because he can, or Lore, Data's evil brother is evil because he can speak with contractions."
And once he had a facial tick.
Yeah.
And once he had a facial tick. Hilarious. So, and that's the end of season 6, where our dear friend Data is threatening to destroy the Federation. Like, what is going on, you guys? Purely from a psychological standpoint, it makes a lot of sense that Data's first feeling would be anger because it is the quickest and easiest feeling for a human to feel.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
We feel it all on a daily basis, even hourly right now.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's not damaging to our health at all.
That's why I can't turn on my social media because of that. Yeah.
I'm feeling it right now.
Yes.
What? Why?
What?
Tony, why'd you change your name to Son of Soong?
What? No,
Because the new album is dropping in 2 weeks.
seemed like a good idea at the time.
Very good. Very good.
Also, did we notice Lore's outfit had embroidered abs on it?
Yeah, I would.
Well, I mean,
What are we doing? Why does he care?
That's
Because
lore, man.
Lore's vain.
That's
He's
right.
not
Exactly.
Batman.
but
I
they-
bet he thinks
Okay,
the song
okay.
is about him.
Rebecca, you need to know, and I don't know if this has been covered on Geekshow or this show or anything, but just before Next Generation premiered in 1987, DC Comics did a miniseries of Next Generation, and every character in that miniseries super swole.
of course.
Like,
As
Love.
like, should be.
Oh, that's right.
and
Picard
there's
was
one
jacked.
episode. There's one episode where or issue where they're working on Data's mechanics and they have his back panel open, but that guy six pack, it's a
Yep.
Why?
it's a sight to
Yep.
behold.
That was back when the replicators only put out whey protein and creatine.
Do androids dream of having six-pack abs?
Electric abs. Yeah,
Electric
so,
abs?
Dream of
Yeah.
electric
I
abs.
bet Laura saw that and was like, I'm the older brother. I need that.
I
So
need
that's the origin of the muscle suit there.
just like again, I don't want to talk about Elon Musk ever again, but getting big Elon Musk vibes from Lore. All he needs is a dark MAGA hat.
Jeez. But yes.
So some trivia for this episode. A lot of it surrounding Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking, while appearing as a guest star, asked the crew for a tour of the Enterprise, and when he saw the warp drive, he said, "I'm working on that." The most annoying guy alive. He
I think that was probably like a pre-programmed button. It's just one button.
I'm
that
working
he
on
has.
that. Also, Stephen Hawking was on the Paramount lot for the video release of his film A Brief History of Time, and he asked the staff, "Could you take me out of my chair and put me in the captain's chair?" His request was granted. And he's also the only guest star in the history of Star Trek franchise to play himself.
Oh. Never thought about that.
Isn't
Wait, so
that?
it wasn't really Abraham Lincoln in space?
And it wasn't really Joe
damn.
Piscopo.
And it wasn't really Stacey Abrams.
Well, they never said Joe Piscopo. He was just the comic.
The comic. But,
And he does have a canonical name, but I don't remember what it was. It shows up like on the
Yeah,
holodeck program, like it's
does have a name,
small,
yeah.
but it's not Joe Piscopo.
Thank
Right.
God.
Stephen Hawking also says during poker, "Wrong again, Albert," and it's in reference to how he disproved some of Albert Einstein's theories. Isn't that stupid?
That's what I figured it was. I think
Yeah.
if they were to redo the poker scene this like currently, I think instead of Stephen Hawking, they'd probably have Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
That guy's
Do you-
awesome, and
do you
is
think-
personable.
He's so annoying.
What? Get
Do you,
out
do you
of
think
here.
do you think that Stephen Hawking appears to Neil deGrasse Tyson like a Force ghost?
I think he's probably.
I hope so now.
Yeah. That's my canon now.
Oh,
How could you not like Neil deGrasse
nightmare
Tyson?
blunt rotation.
Get out.
Neil's personal life is a little.
Well,
I'm sorry. I don't like being friends with people who are like, actually, and like super like literal about everything and take the fun and joy out of stuff.
excuse me for liking to learn.
I like to learn too, but when it's fun, I don't like Neil deGrasse Tyson telling me that Dune couldn't possibly happen.
I do.
Dune couldn't happen.
Shut up. The Borg building is
I was going to say, out of
could
all
totally
of our shows, Dune is the most likely to happen. But anyway.
The spice must flow, Carrie.
All right.
the Borg building is the Brandeis Bardin Institute, and it is more famous as the command center in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
I knew it looked familiar. Where have I seen this building before?
Also, the banners inside the Borg Fortress display the Borg emblem, but displayed upside down to show them as renegades from the collective. So it's
Oh.
They're Borg in distress.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Because that was one of my first thoughts. I was like, wow, Lore really is on top of branding. He's already made
he's got a
himself
logo and
for
everything.
this.
Also,
You can see that logo. It's really small, but you can see it on the Borg ships, like on the walls and stuff. It is there. Yeah.
It's called marketing, brother.
Oh my god! Whoa! It's like lore was really here.
I felt the lore power.
Thank you.
Also in this episode, Data says he claims to have experienced his first emotion. However, in Deja Q, Data experiences a brief moment of laughter, which he then describes as a wonderful feeling.
That's right.
What's up with that, Jake?
I'm going to go with Deus Ex Machina for that one.
Good answer.
All right.
That's what it is.
When in doubt, just
Yeah.
Artificially induced. Doesn't count.
Yeah.
They also said, too, that the first Borg with a name was Hugh, but that's not true because Locutus had a name before Hugh had a name.
Yeah, what's up with that, Jake?
I noticed that as well during the episode.
And then there was that other Borg, Dennis. That was he was
Dennis.
Oh, Dennis.
Dennis the Borg.
Dennis!
He was such
Bjorn.
a menace.
Lastly,
Borg.
the plot was inspired by the novella Heart of Darkness, to which I said, the thing that inspired Apocalypse Now?
Yes.
All right.
If you say so. All right.
Yeah, I didn't.
They were going for that adapted.
I did indeed. I'm like, they're playing fast and loose with the word adapted and inspired by.
Locutus
Broad
don't
strokes.
surf. Yeah.
I love the smell of whatever in the morning.
That
Does that part
Instagram
two?
haze.
Yeah. So let's pretend we have waited a whole summer and we are so stressed about our friend Data and what is he gonna do? And I have a question.
Have no idea. You have no idea how long that summer was.
No,
waiting.
Carrie.
Are you for real?
Seriously.
Severance.
No.
3
No,
years.
Yeah.
Severance.
Try
for
waiting
3
for
years.
Severance for 3 years.
But between seasons, it was just like you were just.
Wow.
Not with that one as much though, because a year earlier, Data was in more jeopardy than he was this year.
That's true.
His head was off.
So heading into season 7 of The Next Generation, were you, the casual viewer, aware that this was going to be the last season?
Yes.
I had an idea. Yes.
Oh. And how did you feel?
I was okay. Because, like I said, back then I wasn't a Next Gen fan. I watched it, but I didn't live and die for it. I enjoyed it.
I was okay because there was another show.
And we had Deep Space Nine.
And you had
going,
Deep Space Nine. Interesting.
And they announced the movie, and they announced Voyager. So it was like, okay,
Whoa.
Plenty of Trek.
yeah.
Lots of
At the
Trek.
time.
Here, have some Star Trek. Here you go. Here you
Your
go.
cup runneth over with Star Trek. What
It
what
did.
must that have been like? So, season 7, premiere episode. Before Lore can run risky experiments on Geordi, Troy, and Picard, the three seek a way to reboot Data's ethical program that Lore switched off to pull Data to his side. So Lore has imprisoned our friends, Picard, Geordi, and Deanna. Lore explains to Picard how Hugh returned to the Borg with his newfound sense of individuality and assimilated back into the collective. The whole collective was infected with individuality. Sorry, this sounds so stupid when you read it out loud.
Hold on. No, I can give you a real world parallel for that, though. Think about the Cold War era Soviet Union. It was all about the collective, no individual thought. So in this case, it would be the same thing as a renegade or an outlaw coming into a village spouting off about, do you know, we don't have to do all this stuff for everybody. You can have what you want on your own. And then they tell two friends, and they tell two friends, and so on and so on. And it becomes the chaotic mess that we hear described by Hugh later.
Yeah, MLMs work the same way.
Yeah.
Or the MLM.
Communist MLM. Yeah. Same thing.
And it can all be traced back to a man named Hugh. Yeah. So Hugh infected his collective, and eventually there was no collective, only individuals. Each Borg...
Sorry, I just realized something else.
Yeah.
The Cold War, they refer to things in the Soviet Union as collectives. So there's another parallel.
Look at Rob
Just saying.
bringing the ancient knowledge.
Just saying.
Good for you.
Feeling smarter today. than I
Cold
was
War,
yesterday.
not even once.
Boom.
So eventually each Borg thought for himself, and soon enough they weren't even able to navigate their own ship. And so this is when Lore found them. What was Lore doing?
Chilling.
Just traveling space looking for a cult?
He had
he lost his crystal
galactic
entity.
Cruiser.
That's right. He was scheming. He was out scheming. That's what
cruising
I just see him.
The Packlids.
Yeah, why doesn't he just do that?
I just see him like floating through space,
Twiddling his thumbs.
That's what I was like. He's
like Sinestro. He's Sinestro of the Star Trek universe.
Yeah, he's got his wheels, and he's just cruising along looking for an opportunity, and then he found one.
Just like, oh God, what's a cult leader name? Quick, anybody?
David Koresh.
David Koresh, just like Dennis Koresh.
Dennis D. Borg.
Yes.
So Lore found them.
Brigham D. Borg.
There it is. And Lore promised to convert these Borg into fully artificial beings without any biological parts. He provided clarity and purpose. Lore gets Data to remove Geordi's visor as Geordi can see carrier waves from Lore going into Data. And I reacted poorly to this when Data is taking off his visor. I was like, no, he knows what to say. I just get really mad when they take Geordi's visor from him. It's all he has.
But think about it. To use another space movie reference here, this was the whole, I need that guy's arm.
Yeah.
From Guardians. It was totally that.
Just a dick move.
No reason.
For
just
fun.
to see what it looked like.
Well, no, because he could see the carrier waves from Lore.
That's what Lore said. He's like,
Wink.
I just wanted to wear it, see if it looked cool.
He does that, too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why he told Data, just cuz.
Has there been anyone more dickish in the Next Generation than Lore? Like, for real.
He's
Maybe
worse
he
than
pisses
Q
me
even.
off. So yeah, he might. I love Q. Maybe Lore pisses me off so bad because he is like the chaotic evil, right? Like, and I'm very. I get in Starfleet mode when I'm watching Star Trek, and I'm like, well, that's not very Starfleet of you.
You need a bumper sticker that says that.
It's not very Starfleet of you.
Starfleet too.
WWSFD.
So these carrier waves, these carrier waves are controlling Data, and Geordi speculates that sending a counter carrier wave might reset Data's ethical program, which will allow him to understand that his actions are wrong. I also just watched episode 2, season 2 of Severance, and I was like, oh, that's what they did to Mark. Oh, episode 3, excuse me. Spoiler alert for episode 3, season 2 of Severance.
We're getting some Severance bleed over. I'm here for it.
Meanwhile, the Borg ship re-enters the planet orbit, and Beverly, captain of the Enterprise, it starts evacuating the away teams per the orders from Picard. There are 73 people on the surface, and she has to put up the shields since the Borg start firing. She takes the ship out of orbit with 47 people still on the surface, along with Riker and Worf.
How many people? How many people on the surface?
47.
Plus 2.
40. Do you know the 47 rule?
No, but it showed up in the trivia, and I was like, this is above my pay grade.
What's the 47 rule?
47 shows up in Star Trek a lot.
Oh.
Is it like 52 in DC, basically?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
For what purpose? Like, why?
I think it was a Ronald Moore thing originally, and it was maybe like his apartment number or something. It was something like that, and everybody just ran with it. And to this day, it pops up in the new shows and everything. It's everywhere. They even released, like when they released Voyager on DVD, the complete series, 47 discs.
On purpose, you think?
Mm-hmm.
Insane.
Wow.
Yep.
That's cool.
With Beverly on the bridge is Ensign Xandra Tate, who has only been on the Enterprise for 6 weeks, and she is now the acting tactical officer. And she's like, "Oof, I am not even supposed to be here today."
Bringing the lower deckers up. That's what they're doing.
Beverly proceeds to the energy conduit point, but instead of escaping, Beverly sends a buoy through the conduit with a coded message back to Starfleet on how to use it and get there. I love Starfleet so much, you guys. Because I love that Picard was like, okay, if there's danger, you get out of here. You go back to Starfleet and you never look back. And Beverly's like, or I stay here and do exactly what any other captain would do.
True. And she was good.
Is that messy?
No, that's
No.
Starfleet.
Okay, all right.
So nobody
No,
follows
because nobody would
directions.
question
That's
if Will
Starfleet.
did it. If
So
Riker
it is
had done
messy.
Yeah, but if Will had done it, nobody would have questioned it.
That's
Like,
fair.
we're
Yeah.
going back
Yeah.
to save the captain. Okay.
You can tell Will to run home all day long, and Will never would.
Yep, exactly.
So she then decides to go back to the planet to rescue the remaining personnel. She plans to use warp to emerge very close to the planet's surface at the far side where the Borg ship is and use the planet's electromagnetic interference to hide their position and give them a few extra seconds to rescue everyone on the planet.
Where have we
And
seen this? Where have we seen this?
where have we seen this?
Wrath of Khan
Oh.
using the planet to
Yeah.
To block the signals.
the opposite. Yeah,
True,
appearing on the
yes.
opposite of the planet. One, we also saw it 20 years later. It was used in the J.J. Abrams Star Trek when they were like, how can we avoid the Narada? And they used the backside of Titan, I believe, to appear out of warp.
Yes, that's true. Because they just warp
And then-
right into the ring. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and then
Sorry.
Laura Dern, she hyperspaces right through that ship.
Yes, she does.
Right. Yep.
So
The Holdo maneuver.
the plan works, but the Borg get to the ship quicker than anticipated. Beverly is able to rescue everyone except Riker, Worf, Picard, Deanna, and Geordi. You know, everyone crucial.
All the main characters.
Well, what they didn't tell you was that Beverly was supposed to be the new captain for season 7.
Ooh.
Nuh-uh. You're just saying that.
I'm just
Okay. You know I'm susceptible.
Actually, they were going to bring back the Doctor from season 2 to be the captain.
You guys wait. But you guys wait until I get to the trivia for this episode.
Oh, okay.
So the Borg damage the warp drive and she is unable to escape. So Beverly heads for the star of the system and engages the metaphasic shield to hide in the star's corona. Where did we
Callback.
see this?
Call back.
Literally just a few episodes ago.
Yeah,
Well, I
that
guess
for-
for you
that for-
guys it was months.
The Ferengi scientist.
That Ferengi scientist.
Forget his name.
Dennis.
Dennis the Ferengi. Yes. A lot of
The
Dennises
Borg.
out there. They
The Borg
prefer
follow
Denai for
Beverly.
plural.
It's like the John of Star Trek.
Yeah.
The Borg
The
follow Beverly and wait for her to emerge. Ensign Tate comes up with an idea to shoot a beam into the star to encourage solar emissions, which would destroy the Borg ship. And some fucking yellow shirt is challenging her and decrying every suggestion that Tate makes. And Tate is like, hey, listen here, yellow shirt. I'm Lieutenant. Shut up and do what I say. And I'm yelling at my TV. And Andrew's like, you are being really aggressive. And I'm like, she's his superior. He needs to shut up.
She's not though. She's not
No,
though.
she's not.
She's the ensign and he's the lieutenant.
Yeah.
And
That's-
he
Shut up.
part of the thing is he's like, well, the ensign better get it right. And so when she's like, all right, lieutenant, that's where that comes from. So she's mouthing up at her superior.
in the seventh.
My
season,
question
they-
You're
is-
allowed to actually me.
When
They get
my
together
question
in the
was,
seventh
when did
season,
she
though, it's
have
okay.
enough time to come up with this plan? Just like, we're in the middle of a crisis, but I'm going to do some side work. Hold on just a minute.
She's
said-
wearing a blue uniform, so she's already a science genius.
Yeah,
that,
she
that
said-
we know.
She said she
Her
researched
thesis
stuff
for
like this
Starfleet.
and for her thesis. Yeah. So.
Right, but it's just like all of a sudden she's just like, hold on, because she's got to calculate all the stuff for where to strike the sun,
That's true.
what amount of beam.
And she already
so
had
like
it
she's
set.
like, hold on a second, we're in a crisis, but I got to think. Hold on. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
back.
Plot.
Can't
Sorry.
believe you guys are just questioning
Don't-
this woman and her intelligence.
No.
I didn't.
No.
I didn't. I said she was a super
I know,
genius.
Jake.
Legit.
Jake, you're perfect.
Jake was on her
Yeah,
side.
no,
No,
co-
no,
no
I'm not, I'm
complaints.
not perfect. I'm not
Yeah,
perfect. I
Jake
don't-
from
I
State
don't
Farm
want
was on her
that
side.
That's right.
I was
Well,
just saying,
it
where did she find the
works,
time?
Okay,
I said she
it
was
works.
smart. I mean, that's always my first response too. Is there something explosive that I can shoot at? Will that solve this problem? Yes.
Eject the warp core.
Yeah. I've been waiting to do that for years.
Meanwhile, Data starts experiments to convert Geordi into an android under instructions from Lore. Geordi understands what and why Data is doing this and forgives him.
I'm not gonna lie. Before he said his odds of survival were 60%, if I was Geordi, I would have been like, "That sounds like a pretty good upgrade."
It ain't bad.
Yeah, sign me up. And then he said 60% chance survival.
But then wouldn't that take away from Geordi the ability to have feelings, the thing that Data is so dramatically chasing after?
I didn't get that out of it. I got that it would just make his brain think way faster. That's what I got out of it.
Okay.
But no biological parts.
For whatever the spot of the brain it was targeting. I don't know. I just choose to believe it would have made him super smart, and I would have been like, yes, hit the button.
Maybe he doesn't want emotions, given his track record with women.
Yeah. You'd be doing me a favor, honestly.
Nice call.
Simplifying my life significantly.
Riker and Worf find the structure that Picard had found earlier, but they are captured by Borg, who take them to Hugh. Hugh explains that initially the Borg were happy to find Lore, but soon figured that he had no idea on how to convert biological beings into androids. Wow, crazy! You're telling me this guy spouting out big promises doesn't know what he's talking about?
Sounds familiar. Well, it was funny when they first show up. Hugh's just like, "The hell are you guys doing here?"
Well.
GTFO.
I love his line that's like, "So your presence here is not exactly welcome."
Yeah. Like
Could
sassy Borg.
could you say as GTFO as formally as that? Like,
Right there.
You may test that assumption at your earliest convenience.
He could have, if he had added, bitch.
and Hugh goes back to the other Borg, and I said, bitch.
You could try that at your early to bitch.
So Hugh goes on to explain that a lot of Lore's experiments have rendered many Borg into mindless shells, and Hugh is angry with everybody, with Lore, and so Riker and Hugh make plans to deactivate Lore for good this time. Meanwhile, Picard steals some parts to assemble a carrier wave emitter and begins to transmit. Geordi is kind of guiding him through what to do here, and at one point, Geordi was like, "Okay, now look around and see, is there anything that can do blah 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 blah?" And Picard has this look on his face like, "Yeah, I absolutely know what that is.
I'm a science genius too."
There's a reason I'm captain." Either way, it works. And Data's ethical programming is reset. Data questions what he is doing to Geordi and stops their friendship. You guys, the power of friendship.
It's Star Trek. It's My Little Pony: The Next Generation.
Lore senses this and decides to execute Data publicly. But before Lore can shoot Data, Hugh intervenes and a firefight ensues. Data follows Lore. Lore tries to distract Data with sweet talk, but as soon as Lore thinks of firing, Data shoots Lore and later disassembles him. Hugh is left in charge of the rescued Borgs. The away team returns to the Enterprise, and Beverly removes the implants from Geordi. Lore is dead.
So the Borg are left in the same state they were before Lore found them, and they're wandering aimlessly again with no one in charge.
Yeah.
They did hint at, they say, Hugh's like, "We need to find someone in charge." And they're like, "Oh, maybe you'll find someone sooner than you think." Referring to Hugh, I'm sure, to the new leader. But they kind of just get left in the lurch.
I just have to say, I'm having a really, 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 really hard time not spoiling something from the future for Rebecca right now, but it's a connection that I just made.
Season 2 of a certain show?
Season 1 of a certain show. Of a
Must
modern
be
show.
nice. Must be nice.
We'll catch up.
It's just
Trying.
You got it. It is Romulan related, Rebecca, so I'll just leave it alone then.
You hate that.
These fucking guys.
So, Rebecca, you're comparing Lore to a certain
Insert
engineer.
fascist leader here.
Engineer.
Put some more
My whole
quotes
thing
on
was I was
that.
watching this and I'm listening to Lore talk, especially when he was talking to his right hand Borg.
Croesus.
Croesus, thank you.
Process, yeah.
And
Dennis.
the only thing that I'm seeing there is, why isn't he in a used car dealership? Because the entire way, his entire demeanor, everything he was saying, I'm just like, so you're selling used cars, right?
Are you telling me Lore's promise is to make everything computer?
Everything is computer. Everything is computer.
Everything's computer.
They have an affordable one, an affordable Borg cube for $32,000.
It's got all the bells and whistles.
Everything's computer.
I love living in an anti-progressive society that takes me further and further away from Star Trek every day.
Yeah, every day.
Every day.
Welcome to the Bell Riots.
Yeah, that's right.
No, we missed those already. So, Jake had to go make a costume change. Canada is not for sale.
Yep.
So
The hottest item up north right now.
right up there next to Greenland. So some trivia for this episode. In an early draft, Lieutenant Reginald Barclay took the place of Ensign Tate. But this change was made due to availability and cost issues. Could you imagine
Are you sure it wasn't
Barclay
made
as
because
tactical
Barclay
officer?
sucks? I think it's just made because nobody likes him.
I was going to
Get him
say,
out of
what was? Oh, I forgot the actor's name who played
Reginald
Barclay.
Dwight?
Yeah, what's
Dwight
Reginald-
Schultz.
Dwight Schultz, sorry.
What was he up to?
Reginald Dwight is
Dwight.
Elton John, sorry.
That's Elton John.
Yeah,
I knew
sorry.
that was. Anyway, what was Dwight Schultz doing at this time? Was he doing anything?
Taking a nap?
He's taking a nap. I've got a nap schedule. Like,
Dwight. But also cost. He was too expensive.
Oh, come on.
Come on.
That guy worked for the craft services.
He did it for the love of the game. Did you,
you're not
Tony?
Exactly Matt Frewer. You're
What?
Dwight Schultz. Anyway.
Did you know he's the voice of Vulture in the Spider-Man video game?
Which one? The newer
2018.
ones? Oh yeah, the newer ones.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Huh.
He got some more work later on.
He has a
Good-
lot
good
of
for
work.
him.
He's got a lot of voice work in video games.
Don't ruin this for me.
Neopets.
But too busy for Star Trek.
Too busy for Star Trek.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. He's got a lot of credits that I've got to scroll through.
Come on, let's be
They
honest.
had to save him for the Pathfinder project.
He could have been a regular on this show. He could have been a regular. He was that popular. People loved
Okay,
him.
well,
Are
hold
you
on.
serious? People liked his character
People
at the time?
loved him.
Loved him.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
let's assume
He's an idiot.
they filmed this in 1993, okay? His credits from 1993, The Temp and Boomtown, Victim of Love, the Shannon Moore story.
Nothing.
So he was
See?
doing
He was in
one
a
of those
TV movie
things?
about the Menendez brothers. He was in
Okay.
Weird Science, the TV show. He was in an episode of Babylon 5. The Outer Limits, he was in an episode.
It's pretty
Heart
busy.
to
This is all
Heart,
90.
okay.
This is all 93.
No, I moved up to 94, but
Okay.
J. Robert Oppenheimer in Fat Man and Little Boy from 1989.
I think they made the right choice by not having Barclay in there again.
I agree.
I wish they would have brought Barclay along for the next gen movies at least, but they didn't.
No.
Yeah.
As a cameo.
Spoiler
sure.
alert. Jesus.
'Cause- What?
He's in one.
Is he?
Which one?
First Contact.
Really? I don't
He
remember
is.
that.
He is.
Yeah.
He's down on the planet briefly. Yes.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
That's
okay.
right. That's right. Okay.
At his Barclays-ness.
Exactly.
Nailing
He's
it.
very,
He's still a lieutenant.
he's all starstruck.
Rebecca,
Yeah.
let's put this into perspective. Maverick is still a captain after 30 years.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's because he chooses to stay a captain. Barclay couldn't progress any further because he's too bumbling.
He was in an episode of Touched by an Angel, everybody.
Who wasn't in the 90s, though?
I was in an episode of Touched by an Angel, yeah.
See what I'm saying?
They all passed through Utah. And
He did a voice for Cat Dog, the Quest for the Golden Hydrant video game.
Of course he did. Cat dog.
That is the greatest sentence ever uttered.
Okay,
just wanna
but
know
Rebecca,
what
you
is-
realize what you're doing now?
Hey, he shows up in Voyager. Yeah, what?
What you're doing now is just making me wonder, can we get him on the podcast?
Invader
We don't-
Zim, he did.
I don't think you would want him on this particular podcast at this particular time.
Not at this
What if
moment,
we
that's for
started
sure.
only speaking nice things?
Well, hang on. We're not talking bad about Dennis Schultz. We're talking bad about the character that was written for Dennis Schultz.
No, I'm not saying
I'm
that.
doing
I'm
the
not saying
opposite.
that.
The only thing that's missing is an American Dad credit. Where, come on, you have to show up in American Dad.
Yeah.
Barbie's
You know-
Starlight Adventure.
Speaking of cat dog, how does it poop?
Speaking of cat, you would wonder that.
It's got mouths on both sides. What happens?
Cloaca.
I was just going to say cloaca.
Cloaca? Whoa. Which side is the cloaca?
Wherever it
Cats-
wants to be.
It just depends on the
It depends
day.
on the day. Yeah. The last piece of trivia I have for this episode is only one female Borg appears under Lore's rule, and she has
Yeah.
been permanently brain damaged by his experiments. Lore otherwise leads an all-male society whose numbers aren't increasing.
Forget that. I'm not going there.
What's a cult full of only dudes?
Exactly. It's the village people.
Carrie.
I can't try to think of a cult of only dudes. And I can't think of any. It's the Matt Frewer fan club. It's Dwight Schultz fan club.
Well,
No, that I noticed that there were no women Borg, and I was
They all
like, come on.
wizened up and
'Cause-
left.
Maybe they
I
are
mean, hey,
smarter than-
listen.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, you would be surprised. I happen to be aware of female cult members who you think they would wise up and leave, but no,
True.
they just live in houses next door to me and
Yep.
let their kids hit each other with sticks. That's all I have to say about that.
I hit myself with sticks all the time. What's wrong with that?
Let's go outside. And
Tony.
let's go outside and run back and forth.
That's better. That's so much better than whapping each other with sticks
I
and
will say
throwing
this.
trash into my yard. But that's another story.
Do you remember the first time we saw the Borg in Q Who? In Q Who? That's the name of that episode. That's hard to say. That's surprisingly hard to say. Where Guinan does the claws out at him.
The claw.
There were baby Borg.
That's right. I remember.
Baby
They-
Borg, baby
Yeah.
Borg.
There were
the
They lived in
drawers.
drawers,
Yeah.
I only know about those from, from that one, but Lower Decks.
lower decks, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I've for decades wondered if they just assimilated infants on whatever planet they found,
Yeah.
and then we're like, these are infants, we'll stick them in a drawer, or
Where they belong.
Let 'em
Yeah.
bake.
I just figured they cloned bodies, and you have to, they still age at the,
I
at
like
the regular.
I like Jake's approach where they're assimilating everybody.
They
you know?
probably
They,
do that
they do
as well.
because we find out
Why
find out
waste it?
we do find out later that they assimilate children, and I'll
Yeah.
leave it there.
Yes.
So if they assimilate women,
Mm-hmm.
surely.
No, it's more efficient to just clone it than it is to do it the old-fashioned way,
Or to just assimilate.
or that too. Yeah, I'd say between those two, cloning and assimilation, they could keep their numbers up, no problem.
Well, I didn't realize the recruitment board for the Borg were here.
Yeah, I'm working on a new logo.
to answer your hypothetical there, Rebecca, I'm going to quote Martia from Star Trek 6. Not everyone keeps their genitals in the same place.
Boom.
Yeah, like the
That doesn't seem to be a
Balkanians in
problem
Men in
for
Black.
Riker, though. Like, he figures it out.
Riker is
Never.
very inquisitive
Never a
Find it,
problem
yeah.
for Riker.
and curious.
All right. That's enough of this, you guys.
Listen, he taught J.D. Vance how to do it to a couch. That's how good Riker is.
So
You mean you guys don't just go through that phase when you're 14?
Surprisingly, not all men, Rebecca.
Never, couches have never really done it for me. Beanbags, on the other hand.
Oh.
but-
Okay, so next episode, we will be
Two
chit-chatting.
Rikers?
We'll be chit-chatting about these episodes from Season 7 of Next Gen, Liaisons, Interface, and Gambit, Part 1 and 2. Give me a sneak peek about what Gambit is. What's Gambit?
It's a X-Men crossover.
No, I was going to say, do not tell me a guy from Louisiana shows up.
It is. It's more undercover Picard.
Oh,
I'll just say that. Okay.
all right.
It's a significant episode for him, though.
Yes.
So much so that he got a figure
You
based
got
on
an
that
action
episode.
figure based on
Yep.
where he's in the outfit and the name of his character.
Well, oh my God, you guys! After next TV show in space, the episode that I've been dying to get to that people ask me about all the time, and I say I can't talk about it, haven't seen it. Phantasms. Did not realize was directed by Patrick Stewart. So that'll be the Beverly Ghost Fucker episode.
The Ghost Fucker episode. Yeah.
Whoa.
So not next time, but the time after that.
I don't think it is. I think Phantasms is a horror show.
Oh, yes.
It
is. It's the haunted ship, isn't it? Well, then which one is Ghost Fuckers then?
Oh, yeah. Which one is Ghost Fucker?
I mean,
is that the name of it? I don't think they called it that.
If you were to have Ray Stantz and Beverly Crusher get together.
Oh wait, is it Bloodlines? It might be Bloodlines because it's not only just a ghost, but it's her grandpa.
It's Sub Rosa.
Sub Rosa. That's it. That's the
one. Doesn't that mean tasty in Spanish?
It means ghost.
Okay. Even more on the nose, Sub Rosa is directed by Jonathan Frakes.
I was right. It's tasty. It means tasty.
Because he will find a way.
Okay, so that's okay. Forget everything I said.
Okay, so the Latin kid, the kid who took 5 years of Latin, it means under the surface.
5 years of Latin?
Oh, in Latin.
Well, he knew he'd need it.
I was like, yeah, what are you doing with that now?
The high school that my wife works at also has Latin courses.
5 years worth of them, though?
He keeps a tally mark in his journal every time it came. Every time it paid off, and he's up to 4.
It went something like this. Mom, I don't want to go to my Latin class. Now, honey, someday you'll be on a Star Trek a Star Trek podcast.
Were you there?
We'll be talking about, and you'll need it.
It's just like my mom's voice speaking from beyond.
Exactly.
Whoa. All right. Well,
this is also Sub Rosa.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for coming along on this journey. Jake, thank you once again for joining us. Always love to have you.
And please let me come back for the next round because there is an angle on interface that I am really excited to talk about. So,
well, don't you worry.
All right.
But we'll be back, and until then, ending the episode, and we will continue to go where no man has gone before, but a lot of people have gone before. Thank you. Signing off. Bye bye.